February 13th, 2026. Exclusive report. Buckingham Palace. The silence is broken. The manipulation ends now. On February 13th, 2026. The palace dropped a bombshell. Emergency press release striking back with absolute precision against what sources are calling Meghan Markle's worldwide self-destruction tour. A chaotic mix of fingers, pointed, shadowed warnings and rising hostility directed at the monarchy, all while she faces a massive wave of global blacklisting regarding her business and creative ventures. We're looking at the firm's most aggressive pushback against Meghan's behavior since the Sussex departure back in 2020. They aren't just slamming her new claims as groundless and risky, they're laying bare the sheer scale of the wreckage from an escalating crisis that's hitting diplomatic, financial, and image-based breaking points spanning Dubai, France, Canada, and further afield. Right in the middle of this blaze is an allegation from Meghan's team that the royal family engineered a strategic plot to wreck her professional life. In a window of only 10 days from February 2nd to February 12th, 2026, Meghan Markle watched her empire crumble live with 4 key nations, either officially outlawing her business and creative operations or quietly initiating shadow bans behind the scenes. We're not talking about jail time here. These are corporate and state-level moves linked to trade laws, cultural integrity, and media. Regulations pointing to multiple violations of industry norms, broken consumer faith, and the exploitative use of royal iconography. On February 3rd, the UAE's Ministry of Culture and Economy officially pulled the plug on permits connected to Meghan's Wellness and Style label, as ever flagging false claims about state partnerships in her marketing, collateral breaches of GCC, rules regarding political impartiality and luxury advertising, plus undocumented offshore income routing through influencer marketing setups. Then, on February 6th, the Canada Revenue Agency, the CRA, and the CUMPAT, British Columbia Film Board, released joint announcements halting all work with Archewell Media Canada, citing missing paperwork required for non-resident artistic groups, allegations of hidden overseas payments, and patchy intellectual property records. This triggered immediate deal scraps by CBC, Netflix Canada, and Rogers Media. France jumped in on February 8th with the High Authority for Audiovisual and Digital Communication, verifying that stop orders were dispatched to Vogue France, effectively killing a planned April 2026 cover shoot. The LVMH Group silently killed a potential perfume deal, while Chanel and Hermes confirmed they were scrubbing all Markle-related catalogs. Meanwhile, Singapore and Japan, though avoiding official prohibitions, have started internal audits on licensing deals linked to as-ever candles and lifestyle boxes. Major stores like Isetan Tokyo and Tang Singapore have pulled Meghan-branded products from every one of their flagship locations. Sector watchdogs like Art Compliance Asia and the European Independent Ethical Fashion Bureau, the IEFB, have red-flagged as ever and Archewell connected drops for possible misleading advertising, highlighting the murky distinction between private branding, royal visuals, and international cash grab tactics. On the night of February 10th, Meghan's head of communications, Rena Walsh, dropped a shocking 2-minute clip dubbed "The Targeting of a Woman Who Tried to Make Change." In the statement blasted across Instagram, Threads, and Spotify, Meghan declared, "This isn't about forms or licenses. It's about control. There is a synchronized mission running from London to Dubai to Ottawa to wipe me out, career-wise, culturally, and as a person. And we are fully aware of who is pulling the strings." Although she didn't explicitly name Prince William, she hinted at people whose destiny relies on keeping quiet, calling out the very institution that profited from my smile, and now treats my very life as a weapon. Her video came with a downloadable PDF fact sheet detailing Axed magazine, contracts denied, permit applications, and ghosted texts from ex-sponsors. But the thing that really ignited the powder keg was the volatile last paragraph, claiming that hushed talks and secret intimidations have flowed from high-ranking offices. And while I've kept my distance, I won't let anyone edit my history anymore, even if that means revealing what they've attempted to hide, including the events in the Balearics summer 2016. Two sources near the palace, this was the instant the ceasefire ended. Mentioning Balearic 2016 sent tremors through royal intelligence networks. Meghan's camp seemed to imply they held unseen photos of Prince William supposedly snapped on a private yacht in the Mediterranean, hinting at bad behavior. However, mere hours after this, barely disguised warning, Kensington Palace retaliated with total openness. By February 11th, Prince James of Edinburgh, dubbed the palace's new crisis fixer since Harry left, hosted a private sit-down with top UK political correspondents, revealing a signed and notarized travel log, proving Prince William was actually in Kenya from July. It was 10:22 in the morning back in 2016 at a UN climate summit in Nairobi. Kenyan state records, hotel security footage, and media reports all back up his public schedule for every single day of that contested period, plus an independent confirm from the Royal Protection Team at MI5. Stated he stuck exactly to the itinerary. That leads us right up to February 13th, 2026. That's when the firm dropped one of their sternest, most organized rebuttals we've seen in ages, sent out through the palace press room and blasted across every official feed. It stated, "The Crown flat out rejects any claims that we meddled in global business or arts choices involving Miss Markle. On top of that, we dismiss these lying, slanderous hints about bad behavior from His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales. Made-up dangers shaking down our reputation and twisting personal grudges for gain won't be put up with. The palace stays dedicated to being open, taking no sides, and safeguarding its role in the Constitution. Not a single royal has played a part in trying to sway permits, laws, or cultural calls in other countries." Along with the release came sworn declarations and schedules, an aggressive new stance, showing they're done with secret deals, which used to be their go-to for fixing inside messes. But backing that forceful February 13th announcement is a fast, carefully planned legal game plan built by Sir Malcolm Wessex, the family's top attorney, and Prince James of Edinburgh. People now view James as the main protector of the Windsor institution since Harry left. The moment Meghan dropped her statement on February 10th, filled with hidden warnings, and that notorious nod to the Balearic trip in 2016, Sir Malcolm called a secret legal meeting at Clarence House. The room was packed with folks from the Crown Prosecution Service, covering constitutional rules, cyber intel, pros from GCHQ, checking for hacks, and a pair of legal diplomats from the Foreign Office, weighing the global fallout. The core of this game plan had a simple two-part goal. First, tear apart the legal grounds of Meghan's claims, and second, safeguard the royal family's standing, shut down any reputation shakedowns before they went global. Sir Malcolm didn't waste time slapping a pre-lawsuit notice on Meghan's American lawyers by February 11th. He demanded they pull back every story out there that wrongly blamed the palace for economic or diplomatic attacks. He also insisted on seeing the supposed photos hinted at in her Balearic 2016 remark, including the digital data, and wanted a written fix by February 14th. If not, a defamation suit would launch in courts across the UK and Canada. Adding Canada to the list wasn't random. Insiders at the palace say some of Meghan's business troubles link back to Ontario-based groups tied to the Ariel Foundation Canada, which the taxman is currently auditing. Malcolm's play effectively builds a legal bridge, connecting her business failures to her story about royal interference, forcing her to testify under oath if she keeps going. While Malcolm handled the court prep, Prince James stepped up to manage the public proof. Famous for his firm stance and technical know-how, James supervised. Dropping William's 2016 itineraries, briefed top royal correspondents off camera at Lancaster House, and greenlit the release of internal financial records proving not a cent of crown money ever went to foreign officials to target Meghan Markle. As he put it, when they weaponize silence, the only cure is proof. James supposedly told aides that the press is now calling him the Palace firewall, filling the gap Prince Harry left when he walked away from duty. With this aggressive legal and structural position, the monarchy has backed Meghan into a corner, back down, or face a total lawsuit on 2 continents. From Paris to Vancouver, the Gulf to the Pacific, her phone has stopped ringing. By the time the royals put out that February 13th statement, the hit to Meghan Markle's worldwide reputation as a business and creative figure was basically unfixable. What started as rumors about red tape had turned into a complete freeze-out in every industry: fashion, high-end retail, digital media, and wellness. And it wasn't just governments doing it. The whole market pulled back. To an outsider, these drops looked coincidental. One label didn't renew, another stalled a launch, and a third cited creative friction. But Royal Confidential has verified through deep-throat sources and private memos that major brands moved in sync, not out of conspiracy, but rather a calculated retreat. On February 6th, Vogue, France, pulled the plug on Meghan's scheduled April cover, even though the photography wrapped in early January. Top brass at LVMH voted internally to kill early-stage branding discussions. One insider, citing her volatile reputation, noted that Chanel, previously interested in a deal for, as ever, fragrance collaborations, sent out a quiet legal notice. It clarified that no binding contract or commercial ties exist with the Duchess. In Canada, legal issues were cited for creative cancellations. Netflix Canada, which had previously worked on segments for Archewell Audio, officially shelved a proposed docu-series on wellness and transformation, blaming licensing disputes. Rogers Media and CBC Gem both slapped a hold on syndicating her back catalog, pointing to regulatory red flags after the Archewell Foundation in Canada was hit with a CRA audit on February 5th. The Canadian Council for Artistic Integrity quietly added Meghan to a do not endorse roster, which, while not a legal ruling, effectively kills grant eligibility and locks her out of venues. Tang Singapore and Takashimaya. Tokyo affirmed to trade regulators that every single product was pulled from shelves and websites as of February 7th. Internal compliance briefs seen by the Asia Export Journal flagged her label for potential brand confusion with legacy institutions, specifically citing the use of British royal insignia. The hardest hit came from Dubai's Ministry of Culture and Economy, which enacted a total blackout on her business operations. On February 3rd, they invoked Article 9 of the UAE Foreign Branding Act, ruling her wellness and perfume ads in breach of political neutrality standards. A confidential memo leaked to the Gulf Media Group highlighted that the constant mixing of royal symbols with political commentary threatens the stable commercial and cultural environment required for trade. Multiple industry insiders speaking on background backed this up. It isn't just about negative headlines. It is that she erases the boundary between royal celebrity and political agitation. One luxury brand CEO remarked, "We partner with actors, philanthropists, even polarizing influencers. But the moment government officials ask if we've vetted a partner's geopolitical ties, we bail." A European talent rep added, "She's a triple threat in the worst way: legal, reputational, and institutional." People are backing off not out of malice, but because they are terrified of getting caught in a diplomatic mess. Royal Confidential identified 3 main turning points: the release of the Epstein documents on January 27th, which, while not criminal, held troubling narrative threads regarding her past social network. These details sent shockwaves through corporate boardrooms globally. Then came the Archewell Foundation audit in Canada on February 2nd, exposing possible gaps between grant money and promo spending. Finally, her own video dropped on February 10th, where she blamed nameless palace aides for her troubles. Her subtle threat regarding William and the Balearic files was seen by many execs as a reckless attempt at blackmail. Combined, these factors persuaded risk assessment teams that sticking with Meghan Markle was unjustifiable to shareholders or regulators. Even friendly media is pivoting. People magazine scrapped a planned Valentine's Day story. The New York Times Style section, which covered her candle debut in December 2025, ran a biting critique of star-studded wellness brands, not naming her but clearly labeling her goods as aromatically confusing and ethically murky. Vanity Fair, usually a key ally for her image, swapped a full-page feature for a last-minute Fashion Week summary. We aren't just watching a dip in popularity. This is a systemic breakup. Meghan Markle is now a liability in entertainment, business, and culture, not due to one specific law broken, but because her involvement brings heat that no company wants. If I go down, I'm taking someone with me. That is the alleged text from Meghan Markle, sent February 11th, 2026. As walls close in, around her global empire, her tactics have shifted to escalation. What started as defense has morphed into a total scorched earth campaign. It is filled with suggestions of blackmail, hidden vaults, and damaging files, supposedly linking senior royals, specifically Prince William. However, sources within Buckingham Palace and allied legal and diplomatic circles tell Royal Confidential a different tale. The Crown has already anticipated her moves, and they are 3 steps ahead. In her February 10th statement, Meghan's vague allusion to the events of the Balearic summer in 2016 sent a calculated shiver down the spines of royal watchers. Even though specific names weren't explicitly dropped, everyone knew the target was Prince William. The subtext hinted at damaging pictures or intel regarding a yacht excursion in 2016, reportedly packed with high-profile guests. Several well-placed sources, including a couple of former aides from Meghan's pre-royal days, claim she's held onto a specific file for years within her personal correspondence. Insiders call it the archive or her contingency folder. It's said to contain scores of high-def snapshots taken at European galas between 2013 and 2016, alongside candid audio tapes from initial Archewell strategy sessions and royal orientation briefings. There's also talk of emails with unnamed contacts outlining media insurance tactics in case Meghan ever felt vulnerable. One ex-employee, bound by a 2018 NDA, but speaking off the record, alleged she was convinced the palace would eventually betray her. She curated that collection for the moment she needed. Serious leverage. Yet, despite the gossip, top palace aides seem remarkably calm. The reason they've likely already reviewed or diffused the bulk of it. On February 11th, merely 36 hours following Meghan's thinly veiled threat, Prince James of Edinburgh greenlit the release of Prince William's diplomatic schedule from 2016, confirming he was actually in Kenya during the alleged Balearic affair. The dossier featured verified flight manifests flying between London and Nairobi, United Nations schedules co-signed by officials, and press shots from various summits. Even the Kenyan Ministry of Environment weighed in, confirming joint engagements. You can't be partying on a yacht in Spain while shaking hands with United Nations. Dignitaries in Kenya noted royal security expert David Maraman. This rapid-fire, comprehensive rebuttal dismantled the Balearic rumor before it could blow up. However, the palace went further. Starting in early 2024, the royal household has discreetly funded what's known as the Digital Contingency Group, or DCG. It's a mixed squad of ex-MI5 and GCHQ cyber specialists, Royal Archive guardians, and legal tech pros scanning both public and private channels for reputational hazards and blackmail threats. A confidential report drafted in January 2026 and now partly corroborated by Royal confidential catalogs Meghan's probable data cache, sorting it into inadmissible hearsay, deep fakes or unverified photos, and illicit recordings that breach GDPR and United States wiretapping statutes. Moreover, several nations now view her personal data stockpile as a possible legal violation, especially if it's deployed to undermine institutions or blackmail public servants. Sir Malcolm Wessex, the Chief Royal Attorney, notes that holding on to dubious content is one thing, but spreading it to coerce others steps into criminal territory. Even with these legal dangers, Meghan is allegedly weighing a coordinated leak through an anonymous Substack post written by an old ally or a ghost-written book provisionally named Unseen and Unbowed, which would dive into her pre-royal struggles and secrets the palace wanted hidden. There's also talk of a tell-all slot on an international program in late March 2026, rumored to be Al Jazeera or Rai 1, both beyond Ofcom's reach. Sources claim her objective isn't to dismantle the monarchy, but to highlight its double standards while casting herself as a silenced whistleblower. A stark text reportedly fired off by Meghan's PR guru to a former Vanity Fair editor stated, "She isn't looking to burn down the crown. She just wants to ensure it reeks of smoke." The royal household is already executing its next moves. They've initiated worldwide surveillance of digital channels for leaks linked to Meghan's known circle. They're also prepping instant restraining orders in the UK, Canada, and the EU to block unauthorized drops of royal-related content. Meanwhile, Prince James is spearheading a media counteroffensive focused on transparency, dignity, and judicial restraint. Crucially, insiders verify that if Meghan moves forward with anything resembling blackmail, she could activate international criminal protocols regarding cross-border coercion and digital sabotage. A palace source summed up the Crown's stance. They've shifted from defense to offense. The Windsor firewall is active. If she strikes the match, she's the one who will get burned. February 13, 2026. Royal Confidential. Special report. The second she reached for the lighter, everyone recoiled. As Meghan Markle pushes ahead with more aggressive strategies against the British royal family, including thinly veiled extortion, public shaming, and quiet threats about secret files, the pushback from her former allies has started in full force. What used to be an atmosphere of tentative loyalty has quickly turned into calculated silence, abrupt firing of contracts, and a clear industry-wide drift away from anything attached to her brand. This pivot isn't limited to governments or royals. It's stemming from Hollywood, the fashion world, nonprofits, and even old pals. From 2022 through 2024, Meghan Markle lived in a safety bubble across LA and NYC. Ties to giants like Netflix and Spotify, plus Oprah Winfrey's massive network and various liberal Hollywood heavyweights, offered her serious clout as a celebrity, a victim, and a giver. But that shield is currently shattering in the public eye, and it looks permanent. The Netflix drop. On February 8th, Netflix Global verified that the much-talked-about Pearl cartoon show initially axed in 2022, but reworked via Archewell Canada, isn't coming back in any capacity. An insider at the streaming titan disclosed. The moment claims about cross-border meddling and state investigations came up, legal shut everything down. We aren't risking court orders over selling candles and shadow threats. Oprah's team backs out. Harpo Studios silently scrubbed every mention of Meghan from their 2026 lineup. A top producer allegedly told Variety, "We aren't seeing an uplifting tale anymore. It is a narrative of fixation and total image collapse." Union pushback. A shared note from the Writers Guild of America, WGA, and SAG. AFTRA advisory boards cautioned members about ethical risks if they touch Meghan's planned book or documentary show in case the British Crown sues. Meghan's book rep at WME William Morris Endeavor was let go on February 9th. They didn't issue a press release, but sources say her file is inactive in the agency's client system. This fallout extends well beyond just the entertainment industry. Meghan's standing as a do-gooder is being silently re-evaluated by multiple charities. World Central, Kitchen WCK. On February 10th, WCK released a note appreciating Archewell's history of giving, but clarified they have zero active deals or upcoming plans with the Archewell Foundation or its leaders. SmartWorks UK, once celebrated as Meghan's truest charity work, updated their 2026 roadmap and erased every mention of their partnership with the Duchess of Sussex from 2019 to 2021. This happened after what insiders call internal worry regarding political neutrality while royal rumor wars heat up. Although she was never a formal envoy, Meghan's face popped up in various UN Women drives previously. By February 12th, her photo was wiped from every live website and press pack. A rep stated, "Our initiatives have to stay unbiased and clear of international politics." Meghan's squad used to feature famous supporters like Serena Williams, Priyanka Chopra, Jonas, Chrissy Teigen, and Tyler Perry. Ever since her clip dropped on February 10th, none of those friends have shared, backed, or said a word about Meghan's allegations or charges. The social data site Influencer Track noted these stats. Meghan's post from February 10th saw 42% less interaction than her 2024 Archewell anniversary message. The Balearic threat citation was captured and spread by royal fans, yet totally bypassed by most blue-check stars. An ex-PR agent remarked, "If the algorithm senses drama brands and influencers vanish, and if that drama includes royals and extortion, silence is the rule." Better Up, the coaching firm Harry is attached to, put out a memo clarifying Meghan isn't and never was connected to us. Sephora in Singapore and Canada pulled clever items and verified they won't carry them anymore. Pinterest and Etsy stopped paid ads for Meghan-themed digital art following reports of fake royal backing. At the same time, Blue Ivy Ventures, the owner of a planned skincare line linked to Meghan, submitted an internal.com exit provision blaming unstable reputation issues. What connects these splits isn't some organized plot. It is strictly about avoiding business risks. Several bosses and past partners told Royal Confidential that the breaking point wasn't the Epstein mentions or the audit in Canada. It was Meghan choosing to blame the palace for global interference and suggesting she might hit back with private leaks. "The second you propose trashing the Prince of Wales just to rescue your image," a non-profit director noted. "Nobody wants your emails in their inbox. The heat isn't only coming from outside." Per palace sources and royal pals, Prince Harry won't back or stand by Meghan's latest comments. He didn't share or mention what she said on February 10th. He famously skipped a planned Archewell Canada meeting on February 1st. Insiders claim he requested private talks with King Charles, Prince Edward regarding custody and constitutional rights. This quietness, sources hint, might indicate a permanent crack in the Sussex team's front. Once called the People's Princess too, Meghan Markle is now staring at a brutal twist of fate, stemming not from courtrooms or verdicts, but from stepping over an unseen threshold of corporate honor. The Crown didn't have to ruin Meghan. Society is doing the heavy lifting simply by refusing to be seen with her. It isn't quiet compliance, it's pure dominion. Remarks from Prince James of Edinburgh. When the WHK morning broke across London on February 13th, 2026, the firm signaled the end of all patience, all uncertainty, and all holding back. The formal proclamation released that A. Out of Buckingham, bearing signatures from Counsel Sir Malcolm Wessex and Prince James, went far beyond just denying Miss Markle's claims. It drew a permanent line in the sand and essentially the monarchy welded the final gate shut. That February 13th memo detailed a fresh approach insiders are quietly calling the Windsor Perimeter Rule. It mandates total corporate separation from Meghan starting February 13th, 2026. Compulsory vetting of every Sussex-linked product post or broadcast to catch misuse of crown branding or regal icons, plus immediate flagging of any unproven claims, targeting the throne to the household's legal team for possible lawsuits spanning the UK, Europe, and Canada. The paper, while polite on the surface, quietly activated a restricted protocol known as Echo Defense. Run by the Royal Security and Intel Branch, this initiative starts tracking public material linked to Markle via outside studios while watching for foreign powers trying to leverage her story and prepping briefings for Parliament should diplomatic fallout occur. Less than 24 hours after the announcement, court papers were drawn up by the Royal Legal Desk working alongside the, quote, Canadian Cultural Commerce Bureau to probe Meghan's Archewell lobbying while Britain's fraud squad began auditing revenue streams tied to UK-connected export hubs. Attorneys at Clifford Chance LLP received a green light to chase libel and misrepresentation suits if Meghan tries releasing vintage records. One insider noted the grace period is officially dead. The second, she claimed, corrupt royal meddling in foreign nations. She stopped being a relative and became a national security issue. This mess has created a rare, ironclad pact between the top royals. Although King Charles keeps a public distance behind closed doors, he's tapped Princess Anne to personally supervise integrity checks for all charitable trusts and Commonwealth alliances. Prince Edward is set to coordinate with the cabinet regarding future press events that might touch on historical assertions by ex-royals. Prince William will front the monarchy's rebrand with total freedom to address the public strike back in court or cut organizational ties. William's off-the-record comments, passed down by top aides, were crystal clear. We didn't ruin Meghan Markle. We simply refused to let her ruin us. As key countries, sectors, and old friends turn their backs, Meghan is looking at solitude via slow erosion. The choices left for her are grim. Her book, Unseen and Unbowed, just got dropped by 3 major publishing houses following the Crown's alert. No global PR agency will touch her without signing total indemnity waivers. Her attorneys operating out of Los Angeles are rumored to be plotting a brand overhaul using a fresh alias to dodge subpoenas linked to her ventures in Archewell, Canada. Worse yet, 2 ex-directors from Archewell are talking to independent auditors in Europe and the UAE. Their statements, insiders say, might push Meghan into fighting legal battles across multiple nations by springtime. In only 11 days, Meghan Markle went from a worldwide influencer in style, charity, and press to a person staring down 4 global bans, 2 upcoming audits, a lawsuit from the Crown, and 0 tactical partners. All she has left is her voice, and even that is fading under the burden of flopped clout, drained goodwill, and sharp legal tactics. An ex-British ambassador put it plainly, Meghan did the math wrong. She assumed the palace would keep quiet, but they broke character. And when the Crown talks, the globe pays attention. The Windsor family has made its stance. Rock solid. You can quit the institution, but you can't turn it into ammunition. As Meghan withdraws into quiet legal huddles, the palace remains united, unfazed, and unstoppable, having seized back control of not only the story but history itself. And that wraps up the newest installment of the Sussex drama, not with a courtroom showdown, but with the silent, icy power of a throne that just wouldn't break.